Game 3 about to be underway. Goblins, huh? Hey, you know there's goblins in the new set, right?
I mean, I imagine there. I don't know if goblins is a theme. I don't know if goblins is a theme or if there just happens to be some goblins.
There's Goblin War Chief and Siege Gang Commander. I don't know if there are more.
Okay.
Austin Aguirre, Caleb Durward, Goblins, Mardu Pyromancer. They'll be given the green light. We'll watch game number 3 of this backup match here in ein Moment.
Very important for goblins to be on the play here. This is Mardu Pyromancer is a deck that's very hostile to 1 toughness creatures. So much token blocking. Occasionally they play with Fork Bolt.
Inquisition of Kozilek. We'll show you a hand of Blood Moon, Goblin Grenade, Goblin Bushwhacker, Reckless Bushwhacker, and a Mountain. Goblin Grenade's a messed up Magic card.
Yes, it is. Not sure how I feel about Blood Moon in this matchup, since Caleb is also playing with it.
Not my favorite.
And I think against the decks with a lot of removal, you got to be really threat dense.
Caleb's going to write down the contents here. What we got? We got Foundry Street Denizen, Bushwhackers, Goblin Guy, Legion Loyalist, Mog Fanatic, Pile Driver, Mog War Marshal, 1 Goblin Chieftain, 4 Goblin Grenades. This deck would like a little Goblin War Chief, maybe. Maybe.
So many of them already have haste, and you aren't doing a whole lot with the discount.
Yeah.
But it might. I wouldn't rule it out.
Draw a card, Mog Fanatic. See what we got here for Austin Aguirre. It'll be Goblin Bushwhacker, an attack for 4. Pass the turn back over to Caleb. This will be a Marsh Flats. Basic Swamp. Let's see what Caleb wants to do on his second turn. Got Collective Brutality in hand. That's not bad. Kill a Goblin, take the Goblin Grenade. There's a lot that card can do right now.
With an Explosives left over, too.
Yeah, that's really, really good. Gonna escalate, discarding a Bloodstained Mire. Yeah, it'll be the Duress and Drain mode here for Caleb. So, yep, give me that.
I gotta say, I'm not a huge fan of the Duress and Drain here.
Okay.
Because the Legion there's creatures on the battlefield, and the Legion Loyalist in particular is significant because Durward plays with so many tokens. I think it is too loud of a signal that Durward has a sweeper to follow up with. Maybe you think your position's so good as long as, nothing bad happens if you drain for 2, that whatever you're willing to do it. But if I'm in a Gary spot, I'll put the odds of Anger of the Gods or Engineered Explosives or something like that at well over 90%.
Yeah, but what can you do about it, I guess, is the question.
Not play your Mog Fanatic.
Okay, sure.
No, maybe that's just so minor in the scheme of things, it doesn't really determine the outcome of the game, but still. It is such a loud proclamation that you're getting hit with a sweeper, and it has to be a sweeper this turn, because you drain for 2. Well, a Gary gets to hit you for a point this turn, and if he has to hit you for a point the subsequent turn, then we're already at a wash. So it sort of signals not only does he have a sweeper, but it's coming the very next turn.
Well, there's your EE for 1. And we'll see if Caleb wants to blow this right away or not. I guess there's no real reason to do it right away outside of Goblin Grenade. There's a Mountain. You can see how ineffective Blood Moon's going to be this game.
Yes, it will turn Caleb's 1 source of red mana into 1 source of red mana.
Yes. Austin going to survey the battlefield here, knowing that all of his creatures are going to die. The question is, does he want to actually just cast Reckless Bushwhacker as a 2/1 with haste?
No, you need something for the follow-up.
Yeah. All right, blow up everything. You can deal me one with the Mog Fanatic if you'd like. I'd recommend that he does. Not sure if he did or not. Looks like he may have. And now would be a good time to probably cast that Blood Moon. And there we go.
So I'm going to go ahead and not check off player locked out by Blood Moon here.
Nice. You are playing an honest game. I really appreciate that.
Try to keep it clean.
Thank you. Thank you. Here's a Faithless Looting by Caleb. You know, just when I thought you were just super cutthroat, you decided to scale it back just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's see what we drew here. Didn't get a great look at it. What is that?
Ooh, the
Denizen
combos.
Yep.
Those are some triggers coming.
That's a hit for... That's a hit for 5. It could be. Foundry Denizen plus Surge in. Can't forget about the Foundry Denizen trigger, too. Caleb has a Lightning Bolt, though.
So we can take this. So Caleb's hand's a little awkward right now. He's got Anger of the Gods plus Lightning Bolt. If he takes this hit and goes to 7, then he untaps and casts Anger. Now you're on Bolt versus nothing. Not a terrible position to be in.
Yep.
But going to 7 against a deck with Goblin Grenade, and you're not really that close to doing anything proactive yourself, it's a little risky.
It is a little risky. Went down to 7, though. Austin will draw. A Haste Goblin right now would be pretty good. And a Goblin Chieftain or something. Doesn't have that, though. Caleb will draw. Picked up a Lingering Souls that he can't cast. Gonna recast Faithless Looting, though, from the graveyard. A mountain and a mountain. Gonna discard Faithless Looting and a mountain, most likely. Yep. And now there's Faithless Looting.
And we should have some spirits coming momentarily.
Indeed we shall. And then we'll pass the turn back over to Austin. Austin will draw. This is not the time for lands. He needs more spells. Only plays 19 lands in his red deck. But he'll just pass the turn back after playing a mountain. Caleb with Inquisition in hand. Curious to see if he wants to cast one of these. Takes a look through his graveyard. Not much going on down there. May have drawn a copy of Bedlam Reveler, but he'll attack for 2 first with the spirits. Now we have an Inquisition of Kozilek. Mountain is the draw. Lightning Bolt and Kolaghan command. That's Caleb's hand.
Be a really good spot for Mog War Marshal. That sounds like that's the path to rebuild here, I think. And hope to get in enough chip shots where Goblin Grenade or a couple Lightning Bolts might be able to piece it together. Aguirre drawing a lot of lands right now.
Let's go back over to Caleb, who's picked up a copy of Faithless Looting. His hand's actually quite good. 2 bolts and a Kolaghan's command. He'll cast Faithless Looting right now, though, it looks like, though. Yep. Drawn 2. Looks like just a couple of lands. Those will go to the graveyard. Doesn't need any more of those. Three. Recast Faithless Looting. Looks like he found Faithless Looting in a Marsh Flats. Might be a Young Pyromancer hiding out in his hand now, too.
Yeah, Young Pyromancer can increase the clock considerably. I like this discard here from Durward. I wouldn't want to go discard a spell and just play a Young Pyromancer without following up with a spell on the same turn. So this sets him up next turn to cast Young Pyromancer with a bunch of bolts in hand, and that should be enough to get the game over with next turn unless Aguirre does something really surprising.
He's just going to play a mountain for now. It looks like he drew another mountain to go along with this Goblin Bushwhacker. He'll play Goblin Bushwhacker with Kicker. He'll attack. I think we're going to get a bolt here because Caleb does not want to go to 5.
Right.
He does not want to put himself in Goblin Grenade range.
That is the magic number.
Durward going to look through the graveyard again.
Check to see if he has any flashback spells. I think he's out at this point.
Here's an attack for 2. Here is Young Pyromancer. That'll resolve. And it's going to send it back over to Austin, who's just been drawing lands, folks. He's just been drawing lands. And there's a Foundry Fleet Denizen. Not all that exciting. Durward will bolt this on the end step.
Yeah, I like bolting here, as now you're going to attack this turn for 5, and then even if Aguirre rips a creature next turn, he's probably forced to chump block with it. And you don't want to give him, even though it's unlikely you get killed from 7, no reason to give him extra draw steps if you can avoid it.
Here's Manamorphose. Going to trigger Young Pyromancer. Caleb will draw a new card. Just 2 lands in Caleb's hand now at this point. Just looking across the finish line here. Play a Blood Crypt. It's an attack for 5. Aguirre's going to fall down to 5. And I don't know if there's a card in his deck that he can draw to get himself out of this situation, Patrick.
The War Marshal is his best draw.
I think that may have been what he drew.
Lets him survive.
Yep. He'll get a Goblin along with that, so long as he remembers the War Marshal's trigger. Excuse me, Aguirre is actually down to 4 now at this point. 2 blockers, though.
So on the table, he gets another turn.
Yep. Another land the draw there for Durward. Oddly, we continue on. I don't think Young Pyromancer wants to attack now either. So we could just see 2 spirits attack in the air.
Yeah, I think you might as well make him echo, and there's no reason to trade off anything. You attack, letting the War Marshal block with anything is pretty bad, because, you know, you lose something and Aguirre ends up with the same number of blockers regardless the following turn. So you might as well just hit with the flyers and the next turn try to go wide, beat a removal spell that way. I think Durward's probably just checking to see, does it matter if there are 2 goblins on the battlefield? Is it worth attacking with a bunch to knock him down to 1? I don't think it changes the calculation on anything. I guess it's Legion Loyalist.
Sure, okay. Not going to pay Echo. Draw. Didn't get a good look.
Yeah, the cost of this line is, I guess, if you only attack with the spirits and Austin Aguirre's hand is Goblin Grenade or Legion Loyalist, and he draws the other one, you're dead. But that seems like impossible based on what's been happening over the last couple of turns.
Well, that's not what happened, as Caleb Durward's going to win this match over Austin Aguirre 2-1. Mardu Pyromancer going to take care of Goblins. And for your defending SCG Milwaukee champion in Caleb Durward, it's not banned spirits, it's a different deck entirely in Mardu Pyromancer.